Joining us now, Geoff Meska. He's a store manager in the Tesla store in Richmond. Now, it's not a dealership because Tesla doesn't have dealerships. They have stores where you go and you buy the car straight from the manufacturer. They got a new Model 3 that just came out. What's the Model 3? Well, it's affordable. I'm going to let Geoff explain the details, but all I know is, like, you can actually, like, a regular person can actually buy this thing. And I had a chance to drive it. Wow. This thing is like, I mean, I'm really thinking about buying one. Now, I know Denny Black, one of my listeners who invented the Saturn, is going to go berserk. But I'm telling you, Denny, this thing is hot. I mean, it's no maintenance, no oil changes, no gas. And it rides like you're on air. Nothing like I've ever seen. I mean, it's really cool. And it's affordable. Joining us now to sort this out, store manager, I guess, GM, big guy, head guy of the Richmond store, Geoff Meska. Hey, Geoff, good to have you.
Hey, good morning, John. How you doing?
I'm fired up about this Tesla now. I got to tell you, I'm old school. I want to put gas in the car and start it up and change the oil and spend all that money and, have the combustible engine. But then I drive this Tesla, this Model 3 the other day, and it's unbelievable. It's like an experience. And you say to yourself, why would I buy it like a V6 when I could just have this? You just hit the button, you go. Right? But see, now you've made it where average people can buy it. Explain this whole thing to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a great description of the car. But I think one of the things that you've seen is with Model S and Model X, you've had a lot of people that wanted to get into an electric vehicle or experience the electric vehicle. But from a price point, potentially it was just slightly out of reach for them. And with Model 3, that's our mass market vehicle. So we wanted to take a lot of those features and technologies that you find in Model S and X and bring that to a mass market vehicle that everybody can enjoy. And really, that's what you get with Model 3. So you get the fun and the performance as you described in the acceleration, the smoothness of the ride, but you also get the sustainability. So getting a vehicle where you don't have to stop at the gas station and you're not producing carbon emissions with. You've got that sustainable side as well, which I think we all know is kind of where the future is going.
Well, so Geoff, here's the thing. Like when I test drove the Model X, which was $100 and some thousand, okay? And I did that 2 years ago, I believe. And it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I took it up and down the interstate. We had a blast with it, and it was so exciting. But you know what? For me, it was like driving a Rolls Royce, okay? It was really nice. It was a cool experience, but I could never afford that. So I enjoyed the hour in it, and it was an experience, and I came home and told my family about it. But that was the end of it because, it was out of my price range. I couldn't even ever think about that. But now when I drove the Model 3, if I need a new vehicle, I mean, what's the average price of a Model 3? I know there's different add-ons, but just give an average.
Yeah, I think ultimately the average price of the vehicle is going to be right around that $45,000. So it puts it well within reach of, most Americans. And like you described, there's multiple trim levels. So the vehicle will start at $35,000 and just based on battery size or features that you want in the vehicle can adjust the price from there. Right.
So, I mean, your base price is about $45,000. I mean, if I go out and try to buy an SUV, right, that's about what it's going to be, right? It's going to be somewhere in there. And the difference here is the money you're going to save in maintenance, tremendous. The money you're going to save in gas. Look, once you buy this thing, this is why I'm considering it. Once you buy this thing, like, I don't even have to be concerned about what gas prices are. Like, whatever, right? They go up, they go down, whatever. All I got to do is charge it and go. And the other thing is, the concern I had 2 years ago was I looked at them. I guess you guys had an app map that showed all the charging stations. And it was like, okay, well, you really got to plan this out because you don't want to get, stuck and you're out of electricity and there's no charging station and now you're screwed. But then 2 years after, they've tripled. I mean, they're all over the place. In fact, Geoff, so I was driving to Richmond the other day and I stopped up 64 from Chesapeake, right? So, Geoff, I go up 64 and I stop at the rest stop there on 64 just before you get to Richmond, right? Anybody from down in Southeast Virginia knows exactly where that is. So I go in, go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee out of the machine, By the way, best machine coffee in the world is at that rest stop. FYI, it's only $2. So I get and then I go out and there's 4 of these or 5 or 6 of them charging stations, right? At the rest stop, and they're free. So if I had a Tesla, I could just plug into that, right? And I could go get my cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, have a cigarette. Well, I don't smoke, but if I still did, I would have one. And then, bang, I go back in there, I drive away, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done a very good job, and I think that's one of the differentiators of Tesla. As you see, more and more electric vehicles hitting the road, is just the infrastructure. We just announced the other day, 99% of Americans live within 150 miles of a supercharger. So, with the range of the vehicle being 300 plus miles, you find that it absolutely can take the place of a gasoline-powered car. And then, as you described, not just are there Tesla chargers, there's public chargers available. So your network is, not throughout just the interstates, but around town. And then, of course, the majority of us are going to just charge at home on that nightly basis. Take our 50-mile commute, to and from work or whatever, charge overnight, and have a vehicle that has full range the next morning. And then, if you take those longer trips, you do have an entire network. Really cool and unique about that, and you touched on it, is that the vehicle actually does the work. So you don't have to sit there and plot out this, elaborate map of where these chargers are and how am I going to get here or there and how far off of my route is it going to take me. We've strategically placed these chargers so you can get anywhere in the United States and not deviate from your route. But it'll tell you where the chargers are, which ones you're going to need to stop at, and for how long you're going to need to stop. And I think one of the coolest things about how we've set up this infrastructure is that all of these superchargers are, like you said, located at a rest stop or near, a Starbucks or shopping centers, a place that I can go and spend 15 minutes while my car is charging and not be inconvenienced. And it gives you a much more relaxed kind of a feel to that drive.
Geoff, for the Model 3, if I am if it goes, what's the maximum? Like 320 miles if I get the upgrade? Was that what you said?
Yeah, our long-range battery is a 310-mile battery.
All right, so I get 3. So let's say I've gone, 295 miles. I got 50 miles on it, so it's almost out of juice. And I go and I stop and I got to charge it. What's the time frame that I'm going to have to wait there, Geoff?
Yeah, you'll get about an 80% charge in 20 to 25 minutes. So, in less than a half hour, you'll have 80% of that range regenerated back into your battery.
So when I get to my stop, when I'm done, and let's say it's home or something. So, like if you go to a hotel, basically you can't charge it. Or if you live in a condo or an apartment without a garage, you can't charge it at home. So then what do? How do you accommodate for that?
Yeah, so in a lot of those situations, you do have available charging. We work closely with a lot of different apartment complexes and communities to help get charging installed in those locations. And then at home, even without a garage, I live in the city, I've got a neighbor that has just a post run towards the end of the street and plugs up there. You will find that there's superchargers around town, so you can always take a quick stop at one of those, very similar to how we stop at a gas station, once a week now. I can spend 15 minutes at a supercharger once a week and be able to fill my car. But there's a number of different options, everything from a 110 outlet to more of like a traditional dryer style outlet where that's what most of our owners are going to use. And then, of course, the infrastructure just around town and superchargers and destination chargers.
So when I go 300 miles and I charge my Tesla, what is that going to cost me on average, Geoff Meska?
Yeah, so on average here in Virginia, you would see that be around $9 to recharge that vehicle. So, for a lot of us, it's an eighth of the cost of filling up with fuel.
Pretty much. You think about my car, I fill it up, get about 300 miles, going to cost me $25 or $30. Now I can do it for $9. Plus I'm not using gas, which is a good thing. I don't have to stop for that. Plus there's no maintenance. Other than tires and you get a lube once in a while just for your wheels. There's no engine, right? So there's no oil changes. There's none of that. So basically you just drive the car.
Yeah,
what could go wrong with it?
Cost of ownership is one of the big things that I think really stands out on the vehicle. we recommend you bring the vehicle in once a year for an annual checkup. But outside of that, no oil changes, obviously no fuel. Even brakes are something that we think are more standard on vehicles. With regenerative braking in the vehicle, our owners see, well over 150 to 200 plus thousand miles on a set of brake pads. So you really do see that cost of ownership being the price of the vehicle, and that's about it.
Geoff, there's been some articles in the news saying that Teslas were not being produced on schedule, and some people say, well, there's a long wait. So if I went to your showroom now and I had a serious interest in buying a Model 3, I need a new vehicle. So I go to your store today and I want to buy one. I test drive it. I want one. How long will it take me to actually get one that I can drive off the lot?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the most exciting changes that we've seen over these past few months, where we were at, a year to year and a half, almost 2 years for folks who didn't have a reservation on a Model 3. Now you could walk into this showroom, order a Model 3, and have it delivered in 2 to 4 months.
So, 2 to 4 months. So 4 months, basically, because, if you're planning on this, right, you have to plan for when you're going to get a new car. So basically, if I went in today, August 14th, September, October, November, December, the longest period I'm going to wait is till mid-December, and then I'm going to have my vehicle. Right?
Right, absolutely.
All right, Geoff, I could get, if I wanted to get this financed, I could either go to my local bank to get an auto loan, or I could go through Tesla. How does your self-financing work?
Yeah, so basically Tesla does in-house financing as well. We're always open if you have a third party you wanted to go to. Our financing is pretty straightforward right now. We have very competitive rates on a Model 3. It's a 3.7% APR. So really competitive to what you'll find out there in the industry. But we try to streamline that process. We don't use financing or trade-in as a profit center, and I think that's really what works from a traditional dealership, along with the fact that, it's a no-hassle, no-pressure environment. Our employees are here to help guide you through the process and educate you on ownership of an electric vehicle and what that's going to be like and how does it fit into your lifestyle. So we try to have a combination. We want to make that experience easy for our customers and have things like financing available to them. But again, we don't use it as a profit center, so it's not something that we're pushing you into or having incentivized pieces around the vehicle.
Geoff, so if I have a car to trade in, what do I do?
Yeah, so we'll help you with that process as well. So basically, what we use is a network of buyers around the country. We send the information for your vehicle out, and basically the highest bid on that vehicle is what we're going to present to our customers. So it gives you the confidence that you're getting the national value or fair market value for your vehicle. But it's also, gives you confidence that, we're not inflating the trade-in price only to adjust the sales price of the vehicle. So it gives it a nice, no hassle, kind of no frills way to trade in your vehicle and put that value towards your new Tesla.
And there's no negotiation, right? When you pick the car that you want, all the add-ons, that's the price. It's not like you say, oh, go talk to your sales manager. I want $2,000 off.
Exactly. It makes my job easy. I don't have to have those conversations.
Right. We all have those conversations. Well, I got to go talk to my sales manager. And of course, they go to the bathroom and come back and say, okay, well, we can do 1,000. We've all been through that ridiculous experience, except when you owned a Saturn. See, Saturn never did that. That's why I own Saturns. But it went out of business, so no good. Now I got to find a new car company because my Saturn
went. So we're next, right?
Well, my Saturn went kaput. They won't make them. And now I got 150 on mine. And I think it's on its last leg, so I got to do something, Geoff. I got to do something.
Well, I look to have you back in and driving again real soon. Then.
All right,
you got on the accelerator a few times on the Model 3, so I know you enjoyed it.
I did. Well, yeah. It was really neat. I have to say, it's a driving experience and it's affordable. But what I just love about you said is, the whole financing thing. Like you go through Ford Credit or Chrysler. Look, we've all been through this. Nonsense. You're getting ripped off. You're getting ripped off on your trade-in. You just know you're getting ripped off. Even when you go out, you're ripped off, right? It sounds like what you guys have done is, here's the price. You got to trade in, highest bidder. Here it is. Do you want to take it or not? and you didn't turn your financing into a major profit center, which all the other car companies have done. So you're getting screwed on that. And all right, so people are interested. Geoff, Central Virginia, where do they go?
Yeah, so we have our location here in Richmond, and we service essentially the vast majority of Virginia, from Virginia Beach all the way out through Charlottesville and west. And we have a service location here in Richmond, as well as our delivery center. So, when you purchase your new vehicle, this is where you're going to pick it up. But for our folks that may not be in the Richmond area and need service, we also have our mobile techs who operate, out of Virginia Beach and in the western part of Virginia. So 90% of the work that can be done on a Tesla doesn't require the vehicle to be lifted off the ground. And this allows us to do that work in your driveway or, at your office. So little to no inconvenience to our customers. And it doesn't require you to ship your vehicle across the state or drive for a few hours if you have any, issue or anything like that.
And if I get the 310-mile battery, that's guaranteed for how long?
So the battery and drivetrain on the vehicle have an 8-year, 120,000-mile warranty on the long-range battery.
All right. Geoff Meska, thank you.